Welcome back to the Capes and Tights podcast right here on capesandtights.com. I'm your host, Justin Soderberg. This episode is once again brought to you by our friends over at Galactic Comics and Collectibles at galacticcomicsandcollectibles.com, or if you're in the Bangor area, 499 Hammond Street in Bangor, Maine. We welcome back the proprietor and owner of Galactic Comics and Collectibles to discuss the 1987 Masters of the Universe film, where a heroic warrior named He-Man battles against an evil lord Skeletor and his armies of darkness to control Castle Grayskull. Really misleading title because they're mostly on Earth after getting transported there and have to fight their way back to Eternia. But yeah, this movie came out in 1987, so we discuss it right here on the podcast and so much more. But before you listen, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, all those places. You can rate, review, subscribe over on Apple or Spotify or wherever you find your podcasts. As always, you can visit youtube.com for the video portion of this podcast and for reviews, opinions, news, so much more. Check out capesandtights.com. But this is Paul Eaton, owner of Galactic Comics and Collectibles, discussing the 1987 Masters of the Universe film right here. Enjoy, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Well, no, they changed where the recording buttons are on these things. It's ridiculous.
Wait, no.
Yeah, we're here. We're running it again. So, Paul, did you like Masters of the Universe?
Is this not the greatest cinematic feature of all time? Is this possibly the top 5-star movie we've watched on this podcast?
I'll tell you right now, it is one of the ones. And there's a certain scene that has stayed with me for years. And
there's
years.
Some scenes that stay with you from this movie.
No, but like there's a scene, like this is one scene that I'm always like, I always go, I forget what movie that was in, and then I remember it. And that's part of it because, like I mentioned to you in the shop, that it's like Gwildor is kind of like a Dark Crystal looking character, and then you get like Star Wars-esque like feature, like sci-fi adventure in this thing.
There's definitely a bunch of props and stuff in this movie that looks like we just use what was around at other sets, change the color.
It was price. It was price limitations for sure. It was budget limitations. However, the scene is them eating chicken in the bushes.
Yeah, the
ribs.
Like,
literally, like that scene for some reason, it's always been that like He-Man and Gwildor and like what's her name?
It's Gwildor, Man of Arms, and Teela.
Yes, eating chicken in the thing, and they're all like, "Wait, this was alive," and they're all like it's kind of funny in that sense.
Man of Arms, for some reason, that putting it to him.
That and the music, the intro song, as well as the songs and music that the key does make, like that has always stayed with me. I will say that. However, just like you read on the internet anywhere, if you go into this movie expecting what you're going to get from the animated version of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, you are going to be gravely disappointed in the sense that, like when we talked about Super Mario Brothers, this is a darker, but not dark like as in Mario Brothers, but a darker, less colorful.
Well, people are dying in this thing, like this war. So background story for this, I love this movie as a kid. I watched it. I've watched this movie I don't know how many times. Liz had never seen it. Her and I were watching it together. I realized later on running the store that I'd never actually seen the animated series of He-Man. I assumed I had seen it. Like, I didn't have cable as a kid. Apparently, I'd never watched it, so I put it on. I was like, what the hell is this? Because I realized the only He-Man I have to reference is this movie.
It's Dolph Lundgren.
That's what I have. I know the gist, right? I know you're
that doesn't look like Dolph Lundgren.
And you're supposed to have, like, I have the power. But, like, to me, this was He-Man. So when I started watching it, Skeletor was running around like being a goofball, like sort of very Cobra Commander-esque villain of the 80s. And I was like, what the hell? Like Skeletor is scary. Like in this movie, Skeletor is scary.
The number one thing, other than the fact that I just love Dolph Lundgren in general, other than that,
Dolph amazing.
Skeletor is the best part of this movie for sure.
God, he's awesome.
He's great, and it's honestly, I watched a movie Draft Day with is it Kevin Costner? About like a drafting, it's a football movie about getting the first overall pick. And the boss, the owner of the team, is the guy who plays Skeletor. And I'm like looking him up online, like who's plays Skeletor? And it's Frank Langella, and it's just like so well. We obviously can't tell who it is under the
not
makeup,
at all.
But it was just like it was so well done. Yeah,
so well done. Like this is I'm gonna say overall, I feel like the budget they spent, they put in the right places for this movie. Beastman looks really good. Like, he looks good. He-Man looks awesome. Skeletor looks fantastic. They
Gwildor,
reuse the same sets a lot. Like, some of like the shooting stuff is a little cheesy. Like, but overall, I feel like honestly, so this is the first time I ever saw this movie in really high def. Like, I'm watching this thing on my living room television, high def, and I was like, this actually still looks pretty cool. Like, it's not.
It translates. If
Is
you're
this a
gonna
great
see
movie?
yes.
No.
If you're going to see an 80s sci-fi adventure movie,
That's sort of kid friendly, family
but
friendly.
that you want, this is one of the ones you could pick out and be like, no one's really going to be pissed about the way that it's made, like the way the movie was made, and it was made for on a budget. I mean, everything I read online about this movie is due to budget limitations and budget restrictions and budget this and budget that. So like they wanted a much larger budget, but they had whatever they could use, and actually the budget in 1987 was $17.3 million, which nowadays would be about $52 million. So to me, I'm like, it's not like, I mean, it's not $150 million budget, but still like $50 million.
It's not a $1 million budget like the Fantastic Four. So I think that's probably some of it, is that they had a decent budget, and I feel like they used it well.
Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. It's $22 million budget, $65 million box today. It's $17.3 million box office, so they actually lost money on this movie.
That's too bad.
Like $5 or $6 million.
Well, I never got my sequel, man. So I never got my sequel.
Well, man, it's funny because it's like we said about the similarities, but not as bad with Super Mario. So if you haven't listened to our Super Mario episode, go back and listen to that one, because we'll talk about how like they take something and they translate it and adapt it into something that's not anywhere near. It's like the difference is.
Humble opinion, this is a hell of a lot better than Super Mario.
Oh, it is, but I'm saying the adaptation is at least closer, and there's a reason for things, and they explain it better. The fact that like the He-Man cartoons, they're in Eternia the whole time. Like in the He-Man cartoons, there's no travel to Earth.
I don't think they ever come to Earth.
This was reason they did it Earth is because it would have been too expensive to do Eternia all the time.
Oh my god, yeah. And can you imagine, like, as the budget was depleting, how much worse the sets would have gotten for Eternia? So like, totally, it's easy. And you know what? It's way easier to get people who don't understand the property to go, okay, this takes place in our world, I think, than it is to be like, what the hell am I looking at the whole movie? I don't understand this place. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand where, why, who. So instead, it's like, oh, it's Earth. And it's this girl and her boyfriend, and then these crazy superhero-esque characters. Okay, this is easy enough to follow.
It has that fish out of water, but not much kind of thing. But like, it makes sense because you also like, we were just talking at the convention I was at recently that one of the voice actors, Roger Craig Smith, who is the voice of Sonic, not the Sonic in the new movie, but the Sonic, the original, like the animated series and all that stuff. He also did Captain America, Batman, and some things. He was Raphael and a couple of TMNT things, and the narrator of Say Yes to the Dress. So, he's conquered it all. No, but he was talking about how cutscenes in animated video games, or in video games, are getting so high def that he says he almost doesn't like it because it takes away from the fact that when you're playing a video game, part of your mindset is that you're being the person in the video game. So when you're playing hockey, Paul, you're playing like you're the guy on the ice. Like you're the one playing the ice. So if all of a sudden nowhere the cut scene comes to a really, 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 really like almost realistic, or like if it just cut to a live action hockey game, you kind of separate yourself from that. Like, oh, that's not me. And so there is this like, you need to have something a little bit not realistic in the sense, like almost like feel like you need to have that in this kind of a movie where you need to have some sort of like, it's not real, but like also making it seem like you're in your world seems like He-Man could visit me. Like that's the difference between like the Mario Brothers going into the Mushroom Kingdom is that you're now still in a weird world.
Which the entire thing felt like a fever dream.
Yeah, you're not in the Mushroom Kingdom. You won't be able to meet Mario.
To us.
But this is like, if I went to this town that I'd actually get to meet He-Man, that was cool to me. The idea that I love the idea.
At any point, He-Man could come to
it's the Sonic. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's the idea that Sonic is now in our world in the live action movies of Sonic. So like, I like that part. I like that. I did not like Gwildor at all.
So Gwildor, for anyone who doesn't know or maybe is semi-familiar, in He-Man, there's a character Orko that's like a magical being. He's like a little wizard dude. He's always floating around, and There's no way on a budget they were gonna make that.
No,
And if they
and
did,
so
it
they
would look
replaced him
awful.
with
So
Gwildor.
instead, we replaced Orko with Gwildor, a weird little trollish dude, inventor guy that definitely looks like a creature out of Dark Crystal or a random background character in Star Wars.
And
Or
it was that time. Like, it made sense to them if they're like, how are we going to make this so it's fans of people will like this? It was like Dark Crystal, Star Wars, those kind of
he's
movies.
sort of the comedic relief to the movie a lot.
Yes. Well, she's what Orko is in the animated series.
Yeah. He's just sort of there and doing dumb crap and whatever. Like driving the pink Cadillac that he managed to.
Well, it just to me, I don't know.
I think it was a Fairlane that he like changed over to run on whatever he's going off about how he changed the technology and everything. And there he is driving this thing, which is, I mean, He-Man in a pink Fairlane is.
Well, He-Man in general is the whole idea. Like, I'm a Star Wars fan as well as you're not a big Star Wars fan. Like, you'll watch the movies here and there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know all of the Star Wars.
But is that He-Man also in this Eternia and things like that is like in the future, but also in the past kind of thing where it's like this, like He-Man's still dressed in like a thong and like
still wearing his thong and swinging his sword, and
but they have the technology to go into like
guns and yeah.
So like it is that weird. So
they can travel through time and space, but he still runs around in his underwear.
The only way that I think that these characters,
you tell me if you weren't built like Dolph Lundgren, you just walk around in your underwear all the time.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, like I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine again with Teela.
I do that now.
And they're always like Terry Crews, the guy on the big black guy.
So he's taking his shirt off.
Well, there's a character in there, Gina Linetti goes, "Hey, you're tackling that person. You're too constricted. Take your shirt off." And it's like, yes, Dolph Lundgren, the same thing. They're like, well, we got to get someone. They didn't get like a pudgy guy to play He-Man. They had to like, but also He-Man is like that in the comics, or the animated series.
In the comics, my point in the cartoons, he's a big, massive muscle dude. So.
And the funny thing is, if you saw He-Man show up with his group, and it was just He-Man and what's her name? I keep on forgetting her name. Yes, you would go. You guys, there's a mental hospital down the street. You can go see that thing. But I guess the only way to be like, well, maybe they're right, is this Gwildor creature character. Like, like one of those things where like if that showed up on your front steps of the shop, you'd be like, okay, you're not from Earth.
All right, okay, now I get it. Yeah.
Now I understand.
You see them walking around. I mean, with the feathered hair everywhere, she's in this weird skin tight suit, he's naked. You're like, okay,
where's the comic convention?
You guys are like a rock band or what happened here? Yeah. And that's the stupid cop in there you get who's from Back to the Future there.
Oh, and he's the same character, just a different profession.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they were just like, what we need you to do is be the same character, but you're going to carry a gun. Yeah. And he's constantly like, what is this, a cult? Like, the amount of time. So the movie itself, the plot is what it is. I don't think it's horrible. It's not great.
No, it's
I think the villains are fun. I do agree, like, Gwildor's a bit much, and then the evil Gwildor-esque, whatever the hell his name is, that's kicking around with Skeletor is a lot. But I think the movie is super enjoyable, but the amount of times that the kid keeps saying to the cop, this is real. If you were doing, like, a drinking game, you wouldn't make it through any of those scenes. Once you put those two together, and every time he goes, this is real, you take a drink, you're done in like 5 minutes. That's like the entire interaction of the kid and the cop, like nonstop.
I love that story. I mean, 1987, so this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen Masters of the Universe from 1987. But I think we're 29 years into this, or 39 years into this. Is he ends up living in it? Like the best part is like he ends up being like, I'm gonna just stay in Eternia.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in Eternia. Like, I'm rocking it out now.
My police pension is not good enough. I am going to live out here. Just so you know, his name is James Tolkien, and he passed away recently, actually. Which is, rest in peace. However, I just found this out because the way I was trying to figure out who the character was Googling it, and then I got to the Wikipedia for Back to the Future and Mr. Strickland. Fun fact: Mr. Strickland from Back to the Future and myself share the same birthday. I don't know why Mr. Strickland has a birthday in his biography or history. Like, why would you set a birthday for a fictional character?
It was not relevant in those movies at all.
No.
Maybe in the cartoon, maybe? I don't
know.
Transcend to the cartoon series?
1925, it says. Wait a second. Oh, that's his events. Events that happened in 19... Wow, I have to go into this. I'll have to go into this because there's like a whole history about what happens on May 15th in this movie or in this like in Back to the Future.
In Back to
Okay,
the Future.
I don't. It's weird. It's on the what's it
Okay,
called?
now we've gone off a whole new.
It's
We have a rabbit hole.
fandom. You know, fandom has like their pedias, like their Wikipedia, but like it's all fandom. It's yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like all this stuff written in there. A homeless man dies in a car crash in 1986, and on May 15th. Okay, so I don't know. We're gonna sidetrack it here. It's a little bit.
Where are we? Can you go to Eternia? Did we save Grayskull?
Can we go there now? But here, so were you not like absolutely pumped watching this again, hearing I have the power? Like I have absolutely. The power. I was like, oh shit, yeah, like this is it. We're here.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's got the sword. And like, I don't think you have a better casting than Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Like time and space, best casting you could get. Like he looks like He-Man. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, giantly jacked dude. Like, yeah, he's definitely He-Man 100%.
And what's her face? Beautiful in this movie too. Like she is like for 1987. Like watching it, she's like they casted someone who is stunning in 1987. Well, the guy that plays
Man at Arms looks like the Man at Arms in the cartoon, and they did a good job. Like the costume of him, he looks right. They changed Teela a lot, but I mean, Teela's outfit didn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense in the cartoon series, so why not change it up?
So here's the deal. So I always say to myself, like just like
Evil-Lyn was pretty cool, honestly.
Evil-Lyn yep. And again, Skeletor was phenomenal, and
Beastman
was good,
yep. But it's weird that they have. So this is always the thing I found a little odd. So my best friend Don is a huge Master of the Universe guy. That's like was his favorite thing as a kid. And it's weird that they had so many characters. The Skeletor has all these henchmen, and instead of just using all of the henchmen, they used Beastman and then just made up 3 other ones. The other 3 are all made for this movie. You know, they didn't bother with like Merman or Triclops, or we're just like, oh, this guy's Blade and whatever the lizard dude is and the weird evil munchkin. Like,
well, part of me, like my last line I have my notes from watching it was just because you can doesn't mean you should, in the sense that it actually probably has been going for a lot of the movies we watched, Paul, that this is probably a quote we could actually use for that. But is Masters of the Universe, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe were popular in the 80s, and so that made sense for them to make this or want to make this.
Well,
but then when they sat down, the reason we never got a Spider-Man film until the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films is because they knew they wouldn't be able to do it justice. Like there was just like this
everything
talk
they
about,
tried
like,
for Spider-Man was pretty bad.
And the only thing is Superman obviously was good. The flying was actually not that bad in Superman. Never got a chance to watch that.
Didn't make a lot of sense with the Peter Pan-esque thing with Lois, but you know, we just
but whatever. But my thought is it's just as you can, and so you can't afford to make Orko. You can't afford to put this all on Eternia. You can't afford to potentially have the extra henchmen for Skeletor. After these timers sitting in
the other henchmen would be probably pretty expensive to make, and they probably had excess stuff to make the lizard dude.
So sitting in this writer's room, do they just go, why are we doing this? Why don't we wait until we can do it? Like, to me, like, no, so we're getting this.
Be done.
We're getting this in 2000. We're getting this summer, right? We're getting Masters of the Universe, the remake or the reboot. But
and this was Masters of the Universe had been out for a few years by the time this movie came out. It's not like this was a big promotion. Like what Mattel had the right.
It was 4 years. So a classic animated series came out in 1983 to 1985. So this was 2 years after the classic series. They didn't go back to doing an animated series until 2002, and then now 2021. And they obviously had the comics and things like that. It sporadically have it happened. His comics are coming back pretty hard right now, like with Masters of the Universe Revelation, stuff like that.
Garrett just got in, and he's still trying to disarm the alarm, even though I told him I'm here.
That's amazing. That's Garrett for you. No, so like it's doesn't need to be done. Like it was like one of those things. Also, I think nowadays I feel like there's this like rush to do live action adaptations because we can, the technology's there. But like in 1987, it seems like that someone at the studio somewhere was like, I really want to make this movie. I think we're gonna do great with it. And I think they probably thought they'd make $100 million. Like,
yeah, and maybe that was a catch. Like the action stuff was hot, and let's find properties that maybe we can talk into using, and that's why we got this movie. Because it doesn't seem like Mattel at that point would have been like, oh, we're gonna sell more toys doing this, or
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean, I'm sure
at
they
that point in
did.
time, all of your cartoons and stuff were basically toy commercials, just
Yeah,
half
yeah.
hour long segments.
Well, that's they were created for. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand that, and maybe people do. I don't know. Is that like the whole in 1980s animation, early 90s animation was all crafted to sell toys. Like we wouldn't
100%.
have
Well,
if
the
toys didn't
original
exist, we wouldn't have those series ever.
on the I think it was the Toys That Made Us I watched. They had a whole section on Master of the Universe, and like they had to try to figure out how they were gonna get you to buy more figures and why there was a purpose of them. So they released them initially with a comic because the cartoon couldn't get going fast enough. So they had the little comics that came with them, so kids would, and then they could promote that as like, oh, now it comes with a comic. You got to read your comic, kids, which parents will like to push reading.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's still a
but
comic though. It's a lesser thing, Paul.
yeah, oh yeah.
It's not as good as watching TV. Well,
So we
the
got
stupid
our
thing is, so if you think He-Man was made for children, or at least teenagers
in
or
this
young
movie. It
middle
runs a
age,
fine line of a family movie and a not family
but it's a
movie.
family movie. But it's not one. I'm not. So I showed Nova and I a couple weeks ago before he went to Disney World watched Star Wars, the original, New Hope, because I thought, okay, it's probably a little too advanced for him a little bit. There's a lot of dialogue in it too, but like maybe he'll understand. He'll recognize the characters and things like that. But I don't think that
He'll at least have
Nova
favorite parts
watching
of
this, if I
Walker or
said, hey,
something.
watch the 1987 live action Masters of the Universe, and then he's like, oh, that was kind of fun. I'm like, but there's an animated series too, and had him show the animated series, he wouldn't connect the two. I don't think there's enough like it may be the opposite. Like if they made a live action Zootopia movie for somehow, like or a different, he would get that because he's watched the animated one first. But if you did the opposite, I don't think that he'd immediately go, that's who that is. Because so like to me, I'm like toys,
I don't know if
animated
I
series,
got
all that
that.
stuff.
I'm in
I
my
don't think
40s.
is it wasn't late enough. So if you think about it, it came out in the 80s, like early 80s, and you did like 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there, early 2000s,
Nostalgia vibe.
did it, you'd get the people who played with it as a kid who have money now to go to the movie theaters by themselves to go see it. And so this is like 2 or 3 years after the things come out. So like you're convincing your parents, can you go see this movie that was a little dark for compared to the animated series?
Compared to the anime series, 100%. I mean, the anime series had a Christmas special. It had the stupid like we left Cringer all out of this in Battle Cat. We just left that out. We don't need to try to deal with a tiger on scene.
It was bad enough trying to see them try to fly these spaceship looking things through the city downtown, and it was moving so slow.
The scene when they start having the battle on those things and the little cruiser bike things.
Well, what about
such a relevant part of the cartoon series, so I get adding it, but it did not look that
well,
great.
when they're standing on the roof and it comes up from above the thing, and you're like, it literally just goes the slowest possible lifting. And like Skeletor's there standing there, and then like, okay, and then they like, He-Man, come with me, and He-Man gets on the thing and goes slowly down. I was like, it's almost reminding me of like a guy doing the whole walking behind the counter, like I'm going downstairs. And I'm like, dude, like
it's probably a bit of what the technology of that scene was.
Well, I noticed it in Star Wars when his land speeder
to lift the thing.
Yeah, well, it's like what I see in Star Wars when the land speeder's like off the screen and going like this. I'm like, that's like a forklift. And it's like sitting there. And so like I can see that. I'm like, that is literally like they used a friggin' what's it called? Scissor lift.
Yeah.
With the thing on it, and they lifted it up and down, but like
up around it.
But the unions were like, you can't go too fast because the safety hazard there. Like you gotta go, it only goes one speed. And it's thinking to myself, I'm like, again, in the past, but also
to get
in the
one
future,
that had 2 speeds would have been more expensive. So they went with the cheapest rental possible. So
we have $22 million. It's going to cost too much money to have a scissor lift. We got to make it go slow. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, he went so slow. I'm like, couldn't you just all attack him? And like, that guy's like, get out of here. They can't run away. Like, but yeah, so I thought that those kind of special effects.
Magic and stuff too.
So, but yeah, you can't translate. Like, obviously, cartoons are easier, and that's why a lot of our stuff growing up are cartoons. Like, it doesn't matter what they are. It's to translate it from comics or books or anything. Like, even the first like Hobbit stuff and Lord of the Rings stuff was all cartoon. Like, the adaptation of the books was a cartoon because obviously way cheaper.
Way easier.
You know how much money they spent on that.
You don't have to worry about special effects, and you can do whatever you want. I still, to this day, I think that's why Spawn still looks better in animated than it ever will in live action, because no matter how good the technology is, it's just gonna look.
He made it's too flowing. Like, honestly, it's Todd McFarlane's fault in a sense because he did such a good job illustrating it that trying to translate his illustrations into film is a lot harder.
It's a lot harder to put that on screen.
Well, obviously, his also movements they can't, like Spawn and Spider-Man make some movements that the human body actually can't do. So,
I feel like overall, this movie holds up for nostalgia, but also for fun. Like Katie was watching it with me this morning. Like, I don't know if she knew what the hell this thing was that she was staring at, but but she was watching it. It's like she was roped in. Okay, let's see what happens. So I think that's great. You get the the foreshadowing with Courteney Cox's, which by the way, I think this was Courteney Cox's first movie.
It might have been, yeah, but it's so fun. It's again, there's certain people you just can't see in other
And there's
things.
Courteney
Like
Cox.
I'm like, wait a second, isn't she on Friends? What's she doing with Gwildor? She has some sort of cool. It's just like a bestiality thing with
Well, that's like the scene where she goes running around the
Ross
corner
or
and then
Gwildor. Ross or Gwildor.
and she screams as she runs into He-Man, and he's like, "It's okay, I'm here to protect you. Like, who's chasing you?" And she's like, "Why are you in your underwear?" I'd be like, "Why are you in your underwear with a cape, dude? Like, what?" I think that might be your like running through a dark alley and a giant muscled naked man comes to protect you. I think you should probably still run away.
Let's see what her
But
first role was.
the Courtney Cox stuff with her parents dying like in a plane crash and like the foreshadowing of like, oh, if I could only go back and change it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. That was a bit
And then
much.
she's
It
like,
was also a bit 80s. It's funny. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but that just screams 80s plot.
well, yeah, that and it also screams Back to the Future in a sense where it's like, or those like time travel things, or those things where you can foreshadow see what happens in the future. When she's like in the house at the end, she's like taking the keys to the boat or the plane or whatever
the
and
plane.
taking off.
Yeah, or the car so they can't drive to the plane. Whatever.
So, yeah, what it was like one of those things like, again, does my daughter need to be seen by a psychiatrist? Like, what the fuck's going on? Like this, like weird, like I don't know. Like, it was a plot twist that didn't need a plot point that didn't need to be in it either. Like
And
the
the
whole
weird-
point was He-Man getting to Earth accidentally through the key, which was a badass. Again, another thing they added to the movie that's not in the cartoons.
Even though the
But
key looks ridiculous.
it is, but the sounds it make are phenomenal.
It sounds
Like
cool, yeah.
all that. But like she gets she gets attacked, and so she's dying, and so they have to get back to Eternia to fix her.
Yeah, we have
and
to save her,
that's the
'cause only
plot,
the sorceress can fix.
right? That's the plot that
Yeah,
needs
I
to
mean
be
that
there.
that
Any of
becomes
this,
the main
but like,
part of it.
any of the other stuff doesn't
Almost
actually
three-quarters
need to
of the
be there.
movie,
Like
that becomes
it
the
doesn't
thing.
have to be the ending of the movie with filming with her parents and her being so alive. Like I guess it gets an emotional side of things, but like she was about to die. So we save her lives, and that's the emotional part. Yay, she's happy, she's alive. That should be the same. However, I understand.
Rather than now we drop you back in time and da da da.
And I think she got the
like,
role. I'm looking online. I think she got the role. She was in a show called Misfits of Science from 85 to 86. A couple of random like one-off things. She was actually a young woman in Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark music video. But she got a couple. She probably got the role because she was in these 16 episodes of that TV show. But this is one of her first movies. She was in a movie called Down Twisted in 1987 as well, and a TV movie called Sullivan in Paradise. But yeah, and then she was in Cocoon: The Return. But like, that probably spurred her career. But again, it may have ruined it too. Like what's her face said about Howard the Duck, about how it's like that ruined
all
the
right,
rest of her. Yeah.
that scene.
She tried to have sex with the duck. That's what ruined her career.
That is way weirder than anything with.
Now, if Courtney Cox
in this.
tried to sleep with Gwildor,
Oh, yes. There's your plot twist. Yeah, she has the option of He-Man there or whatever, and she's like, actually, and she starts rubbing Gwildor's ear.
I like them furry. You don't have enough chest hair.
Yeah,
Gwildor
that
has
would
more
get
chest hair. Or if He-Man had something for Gwildor, that would be even better. No. He-Man and Gwildor sleep in the same bed. You didn't know that? Gwildor's like a little dog. He sleeps at the end of his bed. But my thing was the addition of Gwildor and the addition of the key, going to Earth. Those are three big things, like big things in this movie that separate it from the comic book. And in my mind, I was like, if that's the case, then why do it? And again, they probably are thinking the same thing nowadays, unless this toys spiked, and I don't know for sure, but like they lost money on this movie. So like it didn't do them any justice.
And
at all.
I don't think at that point the toy line was doing as much. Maybe this was their hope to revamp, because they did make some action figures for this movie specifically. Blade came out, and there was like a movie line of action figures, but not very many. In fact, I don't know if they ever made like Teela or even He-Man specifically from this movie. I don't think there was one that came out that looked exactly like Dolph Lundgren or anything.
And now I looked it up online, Paul, and I did this little small amount of research, and it looks like what happened before the movie is in 1986, it peaked in 1985, toy sales for Mattel. Sales were dropping sharply by 1986. Retailers were overstocked, and kids were moving towards other toys and trends, that it actually didn't help. And the funny thing is, I'm wondering now if that was the reason why they did it. It's because in 1986 or 1985 they saw the decline. Like, let's do something new, something
hoping this will put it in mainstream. Maybe
the parents will see it, so the parents will go see it and get the movie and see the thing, and then so it could have been trying to saving grace, and it did not work.
Was the push.
Yeah, it did not work though.
It did not work, which is too bad because like it was fun.
Just like the 1993 Mario movie didn't help with the video game sales. I'm guessing that was a little side thing. It was not because of the movie.
I remember those Mario action figures being on clearance like everywhere. Did you see the end credits? Did you stay for the end credit scene?
No. This is the second movie in a row. Just anybody who wants to know, Super Mario Brothers movie has a stupid end credit scene that I didn't know about either. And I'm just like, there's so much stuff going on that I get like, you hear like the first word of the credits and I'm like, click, turn off, next thing, got to go to the next thing. And so there's an end credit scene for this too, which is kind of funny. This is like before its time.
Yeah, there's an end credit scene. Skeletor comes up out of this like water that apparently is at the bottom of the pit. He falls down, and he's like, can't remember. I think he's just like, "I'll be back, He-Man," or whatever it was.
So it was
and there's like this whole like Skeletor returning thing, and obviously they believed that they were going to make a sequel off of this, and maybe we'll still see Dolph Lundgren come back.
Well, I mean, I would love to see him. I guess they're going to be a what's it called, a cameo in
maybe he might play because I think so the new movie I think is gonna be based just in Eternia.
Yeah,
and maybe he plays Prince Adam's father, who's in the movie or in the cartoon series.
He's not listed
in the cartoon series. Like, no one knows that Prince Adam is actually He-Man.
Well, that's the thing about this. Also, they also don't have Prince Adam in. Like that's another big.
No, there is no back and forth of He-Man, which I feel like is a little bit missed.
It is, but it's also probably safer for you to just understand what's going on. Like, for those who don't know.
It's way easier. We don't need to get into him having multiple personalities or a secret identity or whatever. I feel like that was the power of the time, was always this, like, going from being an average person to being, like, super. You know, you have your Clark Kent, everyday reporter to Superman type thing. And that's a lot of the He-Man side of it. But, like, at the end of the day, in the movie, it makes a hell of a lot more sense to just have him be He-Man and not mess with the rest of it.
So 1987, Globus, the parent company, I guess, announced the sequel, Masters in the Universe 2, at the 1987 Cannes Film Festival. Despite Lundgren's refusal to reprise the role, reportedly because he disliked the first film and instead chose to star in Cannon's Red Scorpion in 1989. They had cast Laird Hamilton as his replacement.
I could see instantly, if you're not going to have Dolph Lundgren back, just not doing the movie.
Financial troubles after the box office failures of Masters of the Universe and Superman 4. The company refused to pay Mattel royalties for their characters. So Mattel was not pleased in the sequel script, and the whole strip was canceled. The film right thus reverted to Mattel to avoid wasting the sets and costumes already prepared for the sequel and an unmade Spider-Man film. Cannon produced a low-budget movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, which they titled Cyborg. So Cyborg was created using the sets and from a canceled Spider-Man film they were supposed to do, and He-Man or Masters of the Universe 2. So technically, if you want to say it, Cyborg is the sequel to this movie.
Now I kind of go on. I want to go watch.
But that's kind of funny. It also shows Hollywood. It also shows Hollywood in the sense that, like you mentioned, the idea, like, we had some parts left over, a nose left over from Dark Crystal, so we'll just like buy that off of the people who do it all used in this movie, and that's what they make Gwildor.
Reuses
but
stuff.
like,
so I mean, the Horde
planning
armor,
for it and not doing it, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
that is nuts. The Horde armor definitely has Stormtrooper vibes.
Yes,
like,
it does.
Makes you wonder if it was something being reused.
Well, the blasters.
But I didn't notice until the high def that Horde armor does actually have like a Horde symbol on the chest plate. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool addition that I never noticed on VHS. Like, because I don't. Liz got me this on DVD one year for Christmas, and I watched it again. But still, now that, like, to see it in high def was like, oh, okay, that's actually a cool piece to be put in the movie.
I know. Well, there's like certain things you're like, I don't know, man. Sometimes they don't do, like, this translated well to high def. Like when here's the thing, when someone honestly, years and years ago.
This translated better to high def, I feel like, than Terminator did.
Oh yes, yeah.
Terminator went to high def and was like, wow.
Someone told me the other day that was like, they were like when the first, well, not the other day, a while ago, when the first like 1080p TV hit the market, and I was working at Circuit City, and someone was like, "This is amazing," and someone made a joke like, "Now I can watch my porn in high def," and I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that. I think there's certain things that are designed for low definition, and you're going to be happy with that. Like, I don't want to know about that, but certain things, like they did obviously in 1987 weren't planning for this to be, like remastered into a point where you're going to be able to see it in high definition, and so, but also they also didn't skimp by putting the logo on the shirt, and you can't see it in the final version on the VHS that well. It's cool because they could have skipped on that, and
right.
they just
they made sure that it was done.
Yeah, it's done well. And again, I don't think that this is not one of those movies that you'd watch, anybody who's like really picky about movies from the 80s, and you'd go, ugh. Like the movie itself, there's a couple things, like I mentioned, the slowness of things or whatever, and like
it screams 80s. Like
there is a couple spots where you're like, ugh, but like
the blasters,
yes.
He-Man's blaster
part
definitely looks like we just got the Nintendo Zapper and put some crap on it.
I also love that He-Man has a sword, and He-Man has, like, again, no clothes on, but yet he has a blaster that can fire a laser shot. Like, to me, I'm always like, oh, I feel like you'd probably,
if you're someone universe, Justin, don't be shaming.
But if someone's trying to shoot a laser at you, wouldn't you try to like at least do something so it didn't hit your bare skin?
Well, you have the sword for.
I understand that,
but the sword deflects them.
But doesn't it sparks? Isn't there like sparks that would come off of it, and like little sparks?
Well, when you're that chiseled, it just doesn't matter. See, I understand where Dolph Lundgren comes from. That's why I never take my shirt off.
Yeah, exactly. When
you're that chiseled and lubed up in baby oil. The sparks.
Is it that, or is it
bother you?
Is it that, or is it too hard to get off and then also too hard to get back on? Is that?
Yeah, that'd probably be it too. Yeah, that'd be it too.
Well, I was just saying the other day, I was like,
yeah, it's sort of funny that like all the hordes in armor, all the other troops in armor, and He-Man runs around butt naked.
Even Superman wears something, man. Like let's be honest here, like Superman is buff as hell and incredible.
You look like He-Man, you'd be running around in your thong too.
Luke Cage wears at least a tight T-shirt. Like, what's going on here, man? Like, let's go. Like, He-Man's over there,
80s,
and like,
man, it's a lot of cocaine. It was the 80s.
He-Man's over there in like suspenders and nothing. Like, it's suspenders. Well, I guess he has the suspenders to hold his underwear up.
Oh, the sword and the cape.
Yeah,
you have to have that to keep the cape and the sword on.
Yeah, I want to see Deadpool in that outfit. Have his swords in the back and there's a thong. Well, he would wear a G-string. So that's the thing is that's the difference.
Oh,
Wade Wilson would wear a G-string. I say Wade Wilson, but also Ryan Reynolds would probably wear a G-string for that too. But no, like, when we talk, the reason I wanted to talk about this movie with you, Paul, is not just because nostalgia or just because it's, again, not a starred movie, like not a movie that's like, oh my God, it's what a classic movie needs to be in. Like,
no, I don't think a lot of people even knew this existed really.
Is because the movie's coming out this summer, and so there's a connection to it. Just like the next movie we'll probably discuss is Supergirl, and that's because the Supergirl movie's coming out this summer. So like, there's this need to go back and watch those original stuff. I even
watched that when I was a kid. I feel like I did. I feel like I probably saw Supergirl when I was a kid, but I don't remember.
I've never seen it, so like to me, it's like that. I got to watch it for the first time, which probably if you remember seeing it,
right?
Like I said, I'd seen it.
You saw it at some point,
long time ago, and that's why that scene stuck in my head, and I never could remember which movie. You know, like that. You always like, this is the movie, and you put it in, like, it never happened in that movie, and it's like finally it got to the point where like that scene came, and I was like so excited for that scene for they're eating chicken, like what the hell? And I'm also surprised like there's not like a sponsorship of KFC in there or something like that. Like why is there not
we got Robbie's ribs? Yeah.
But it was an interesting, but like that's
the reason. What I said to Liz is I was like, so they're vegetarian, obviously Man-at-Arms doesn't care. But Gwildor and Teela were both sort of disgusted with the idea that this was an animal they were eating. So they're vegetarians. What the hell does He-Man eat for protein? Because that dude is ripped.
Well, that also, like, so they're vegetarians. You know a vegetarian. I know a vegetarian, right? We know some vegetarians. None of them are surprised, or none of our friends that eat no meat are surprised that people eat meat. So like my thought is like
of it. Apparently on Eternia
there's nobody eats any meat.
Eating any meat. Yeah, evidently. That was a weird I don't know, it was a weird add-on.
Did you Google what does He-Man eat?
Now I kind of like, wait, in the cartoon series did they ever eat, like, they had like a whole Christmas episode of they eating ham or turkey on it?
Funny enough, He-Man isn't exactly known for sitting down and eating meals. Okay, that's also so. Adam normally eats. a fantasy kingdom food, which is roasted meats, breaded fruit, and big castle banquets. So like,
Yeah. So in the cartoon
he eats
series,
meat in the
so
cartoons.
it's weird. I wonder
Someone on the
why
film, one of the writers was vegetarian. You know that.
vegetarian. Yeah, yeah. There was like some piece of sort of propaganda they wanted to add to this of like anti-eating meat.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize that. You didn't realize that
that's a
right before
fun scene.
the post credit scene. It said this movie was sponsored by PETA. You didn't see that? They don't use that on like things. Like even He-Man was a vegetarian. That's what they should have like put out
Yeah,
there.
really.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I guess
That
he
would've
wasn't
been-
part of
that
that
could've been a
scene, was
huge
he?
Promotion.
Was he part of that
Like-
scene? No, it wasn't. It was Man at Arms,
It was Man-at-Arms, Teela, and Gwildor.
Gwildor. So he wasn't even part of that scene. So maybe he
Man-at-Arms
does
is just
eat meat.
putting it to him, and that's when
Oh, he
Teela was
doesn't
like,
care.
"I wonder why they put their food on these little sticks." He's like, "That's a rib bone." And she's like, "This used to be an animal."
And he's like, was it animal or alive?
"No, this used to be alive, whatever." And he was like, "Yeah, uh-huh." And she's like, "Oh, barbaric world," and she throws it down. And then she like
And Gwildor even like
Gwildor's still
Gwildor,
looking
this
at
like
it tasted good.
this
Like,
creepy little creature, it was also offended by it.
yeah. Yeah, he was like sort of upset. He's like, it tasted good. He's looking at, but when they first land on Earth, they encounter a cow that's like mooing, and Gwildor's like, "Oh, this poor beast is like cry," and he's like trying to communicate with the cow. Like,
I would have loved
Gwildor's
Gwildor,
also drinking barbecue sauce out of the container, so take it all for what it's worth.
I would have loved Man at Arms to be like, yeah, you should try whatever creature Gwildor is. You should try that on a bone. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I love he's like, never think when you're hungry.
But yeah, I mean, it has the tropes of what a movie would be like for the 80s. You have this, you have these characters, specific characters. You have this, they're in a predicament. They have this one thing that will save it. They've happened to
come to
stumble
Earth.
upon the guy that can save them because they obviously can't, the tones are all messed up. And so, like, they need to get the tones, and he remembered it. And he foreshadowed
Yeah, he knows
that a
the
lot,
music.
right? They foreshadowed them finding it, putting the sounds in his keyboard and all that stuff. Like, they obviously foreshadowed that a lot, and he could save the day and so on and so forth. And no one else was to the wiser, right? I mean, no one in this world knew this thing happened because obviously they
Besides the
somehow
cop
went
who
back
decided
in
not to come
time.
back. Yeah. Yeah.
And
The cop, by the way,
probably, there should have been like wanted missing signs. Like, where is this guy? All of a sudden, nowhere, he's just gone.
this one scene that got me, for anyone who doesn't know anything about firearms, when I watched this later, I was like, what the hell is he doing? Because it looks cool that he cocks the shotgun. He gets a shotgun from the record store. He's like, "You got something in case you get robbed?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's a gun on the counter." He takes a shotgun, so he cocks it to make sure there's a round in it. He walks outside, here are all the troops, and he's like, "Please freeze!" And he cocks the shotgun again. Well, now we just, in the way shotguns work, he just emptied another round out of it. He cocks this thing so many times because it looks cool. There isn't a single round left for him to fire in this shotgun when he finally starts shooting at bad guys when they get to Eternia. Like, there's no way this thing. I just love the scene where just every time he's just, that's like between that and Kevin telling him this is real. This, dear Lord, holy crap.
Well, that's it's funny. There's also like a shotgun versus laser blasters. I'm like, I just don't know. Like, it's
and I'm thinking the shotgun's not going to do much against these guys' armor. Like,
It's like
that should have just done nothing in theory because.
stick to a knife fight. Like, you're gonna bring a knife fight, you're gonna bring this little stick to it and be like, I got you, come on, poke you. I'll bring a what's it called, a fencing sword to this knife fight and see how that works.
Yeah, you bring the fencing sword and then He-Man pulls out his sword and you're like,
yeah,
oh.
you're like, whoa, shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't think that shotgun was not going to do a hell of a lot against these alien troops.
but it was fun. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's one of those things that was fun.
That was why I wanted to watch this movie and see what you had to say and where it came out with on this, because I just think this is a fun movie.
It's one of those ones I will watch
when Liz
again.
got it for me on DVD for Christmas one year. I was like, oh my God, Master of the Universe has been found. Because like I had it on VHS and then I hadn't watched it for years. And when I watched it again on DVD, I was like, this is still fun. And watching it now for this podcast, I'm like, still fun. Is it
And
good?
I'm wondering if sales will go up. Like, I wonder if like the DVD sales and Blu-ray sales and things like that will go up. I don't think it's available for streaming anywhere. Last time I checked, I want to.
so.
I want to say I went on Amazon
and I couldn't find it.
I think I went on Amazon because they usually link the Amazon link because that's the easiest link to link to people. And there was, I think it says like not available in your area. Like, it's like not available in the United States.
Yeah,
It might be available in like UK or like Australia
like that,
streaming,
yeah.
but not.
I don't
on,
think
not
it's
in the United
streaming
States.
anywhere here.
So you have to buy physical media, which is cool in my opinion, because that's like another like it's just also nostalgic to that part. Where,
I
like,
don't think you'll regret owning Masters of the Universe.
No, and I think it's one of those ones that you could watch over and over again. I will at 120 show Nova, maybe Riley, about this movie and how it's like history. And again, we'll see comparisons coming up here in a couple of months, even more. Even though
I will be interested to see the new one and see if I think it is actually better than the Dolph Lundgren one.
Well, the thing about it is, it's like it's a different movie. Like it's not like
Completely.
it's not as different as the new Mario movies compared to the 1993 Mario movies. Like that's a completely different style of filming. They did get some pretty unknown, like Teela is Camelia Mendez, Skeletor is Jared Leto, Alison Brie, who I like, is Evil-Lyn. He-Man is Nicholas Galantine.
Yeah, I've never heard of.
No, which is good in my opinion. I love that, Paul. You don't want. I love Dolph Lundgren, but like you can't to have him not be anybody. Really, it makes it so much better.
I feel like nowadays when you're playing iconic characters, it is generally easier to find someone who's not recognized.
No, he's been in, I don't know, 10 movies since 2014, but they've all been like Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is like probably a Hallmark movie. He was in where did I just see Cinderella, the Cinderella live action. He was Prince Robert. He was in the Sheep Detectives. I don't know what the hell that was. Well, that's actually coming out. It's not even out yet. And he's in the Mosquito Bowl, which I don't know what that is either. And a sequel to Red, White, and Royal. This is Red, White, and Royal Wedding.
It was so good it got a sequel. It's more than we can say for our Masters of the Universe.
Yes, right. So he's in this. I actually am happy about the fact that he's kind of a nobody, because that makes it more like you can see him as E-Man more than, he was Harry Potter or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really hard to see Daniel Radcliffe in anything and not see Harry Potter. Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic. All I could sort of see was Pedro Pascal, not because he's just so famous.
And the same thing with Teela. Teela is not anybody. I mean, she was in a couple of movies that you wouldn't really know. Palm Springs, Coyote Lake, I don't know, New Romantic. So she's not in anything that's like I said, a big deal. She was on Riverdale, the TV show. She was Veronica.
That was very popular. I haven't watched it, but it's very popular right now.
But movie-wise, she wasn't much in it. So I like that. And then Jared Leto, he's got to try to rehab against being Morbius. Like,
that's where I feel like this movie could flop, because he is kind of bombed every single superhero-related thing he's done. So,
do you know the budget of the new film compared to the old film?
I bet it's a hell of a lot more than the budget on this one.
The budget is $170 to $200 million for this movie.
Baby. Man, can you imagine the amount of comic books I could buy with that?
Kristen Wiig's in it too. Idris Elba's in it too.
I remember seeing that Kristen Wiig was
Alison Brie. But I don't have a problem with some of these people being like lesser or characters that show up here and there.
It's really fun having them in there. Yep.
Idris Elba's Man at Arms.
I mean, Masters of the Universe has a pile of just oddball characters.
It looks like Deadpool's girlfriend.
Okay, yep.
Marina Baccarin is Sorceress. And Idris Elba is Duncan / Man at Arms. And
this is one I never know too. Did Man at Arms ever have him?
I don't know. Kristen Wiig is Roboto.
Yeah, that was weird. That's right. She's playing Roboto, or like voicing Roboto, which was odd.
So they're not even putting Orko in this? That's pretty interesting. Now they have the technology to do Orko, and they're not even doing it.
Orko, like watching the cartoon, Orko is weird and sort of
annoying. Maybe that's why.
It doesn't, like, Orko doesn't necessarily fit the plot of the Masters of the Universe stuff.
Okay, so do you want to know you want me to read the plot really quickly, the premise?
Yeah,
so after being separated for 15 years from the Sword of Power, leads Prince Adam back to Eternia, where he discovers his home shattered under the fiendish rule of Skeletor. To save his family in his world, Adam must join forces with his closest allies, Teela and Man at Arms, and embrace the true destiny as He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. So it's like a redemption story in a sense. Like he just, after many, many years of it.
And I mean, that's, I guess, sort of the gist of the cartoon series to a degree. He's always defending Castle Grayskull and defending
I'm saying I'm thinking we're gonna see battles in this, I think too. And I think we're gonna see some pretty epic stuff that's not like you're talking. This is more grounded to earth. This is like He-Man meets Hell's Kitchen. And this is more the newer movies like gonna be bombastic and probably like more epic battles and more epic.
Well, now,
things like that.
now you can do all of Eternia and do multiple sets and stuff, and not really.
But I wouldn't mind like having this like fish out of water being like all of a sudden or at the end of the movie to get set down in New York
Sent
City.
to Earth.
Yeah,
Courtney Cox is like, not again.
They set to Earth and they're like they fall and they land on Courtney Cox's parents' house and he just kills them again. Like what the? No, but I don't know. I can see it like it's got to make $400
That would
million.
honestly be awesome if Courtney Cox had a like cameo role.
Yes,
in
Courtney
this.
Cox and Dolph Lundgren, like both of them would be like amazing to see like randomly in the movie. But they have to make what $400 million, Paul, to make this. Like you can't like the $200 million budget plus all the marketing expenses that you don't hear about, which are in the hundreds.
Oh
of
my
millions
god, yeah,
usually.
100%.
You're thinking $400-500 million, but you have to make when you have a budget that big.
And in like, you better be able to make licensing product. You better be able to sell T-shirts and action figures and
are
all
people
of that
clamoring
stuff.
for this?
And
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just looking at the Master Universe trailer to see how much has been watched. Okay, so the trailer that was released 3 weeks ago had 26 million viewers. So, and the one that was released 33 months ago has 38 million viewers. So, okay. I think there's some people who want it. I mean, we all want it. I'll see it. I'll watch it for sure because anything to do with like pop culture and the adaptations of comics, animated series, all that stuff is great. I mean, probably for most people, it's probably better than the Masters of the Universe TV show that came out.
I don't know if I'm gonna run to the theater for it.
No, I don't think so either. But
I'll watch it. Yeah, I might.
See.
We'll
see.
Liz loves going to the movies, so if it's just we really want to go to the movies and it's out right now, what the hell.
2 stars is what I gave it. Are you higher or lower?
Oh, I'm higher.
Oh, come on. So I understand it, but there's like this. I don't know. The movie itself.
All right.
Is like a 1 star. Like the movie itself is 1 star.
My childhood nostalgia out of this whole thing. I still feel like this is like 3.5 stars. I feel like it's still fun. I feel like the plot is acceptable. Like it's never I can't watch any more of this. This is too stupid and shut it off. I feel like the effects are 80s and hold up for 80s fun. Like you have the scenes with the blasters or the scenes with Skeletor using his magic that are all like very meh, but they don't overdo that stuff. So I go 3.5 stars, and honestly, for nostalgia vibes, I would definitely go 4 stars. But I think of a realistic, let's try to step back. I still go 3.5 stars. I don't think you could find a better actor than Dolph Lundgren.
No,
to play He-Man for this. Yeah. He's He-Man. He's huge, he's muscle-bound, massive guy, sword fighting. And Skeletor looks awesome.
Skeletor is a saving grace to me.
I still think to this day Skeletor looks awesome.
Skeletor is the star of this movie, and I think that the problem is that I hated Gwildor so much that
Gwildor was a lot, but I don't think he ruined the movie.
But here's so would it have just been just as funny as the guy who played Gwildor to be a small person in a He-Man style outfit making those jokes
rather than the
creature? Like, I feel like if you just added another human being, if it was just a human, you know how, like, technically Boba Fett...
I mean, yeah, probably Fett, not, like...
The first Star Wars movie, Jabba the Hutt, was supposed to be just a dude, and they replaced him with the animal, and it obviously became an iconic-looking character and all that. But this feels like they did the same thing, being like, oh, it could have been a person, but it's like, or we could have used Orko as Orko, but as a small person or something.
Just dressed like... Orko sort of
like have red on and like a purple something on his thing. I think that would have been better in my opinion. But I will say, if you had to pick and we did something we do to average and you went to 3.5 to 4 stars and I said 2, I could say we can go easily at 3 from this movie if we met in the middle there. I could easily say that's it was entertaining.
That's probably fair. This is not hell of a time right now. It's not a great movie. This is definitely something I would have to put out as a guilty pleasure that I enjoy watching. And I put it on in here at the shop. A lot of times people, in fact, almost like all the time, people are like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know if anyone's recognized it. But
that's the point. Paul, isn't that telltale? I mean, I guess you put Super Mario Brothers on, the same thing would happen. But like, that's a telltale sign. Like, if you could watch 5 minutes of the movie and go, what the fuck movie am I watching? did they do a good job at adapting it in that sense? Like, it's like you're probably gonna be watch 5 minutes of the new movie and be like, oh, this is He-Man. But like, I don't know. There's obviously gonna be
Well,
more
I think
color
something
in it
too is
too.
like how recognizable is He-Man anymore? Like he's not He-Man. He-Man definitely died off. Was definitely a character of the early '80s that like didn't withstand time. Like he
Better hold more true to the animated series because Kevin Smith and his crew got annihilated for doing some things differently in the Revelation.
Oh yeah, the He-Man
And
fans
so,
hated Kevin Smith's one. I've never watched it
me
because
either.
I heard so many negative things about it that I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna skip this thing.
My guess is they learned, even if it was good. Like I said, I have no problem. And I do trust that Kevin Smith makes some good decisions. He's a fan of these things. This is not just some guy making things and doing it for
Yeah, I
money.
was sort of
Like, he
surprised with the
wants
amount
to
of
do
hate
it.
that Kevin Smith got off of that.
Is that they would learn from that lesson though and go, okay, we probably should do things a little bit closer. And so that's probably why they are doing something in Eternia and they're using the characters that were supposed to be in the movie or the show and all that stuff. So I would think that it's gonna be much better in that sense. But is it gonna be the same in our minds? Like, it's gonna be a 3.5 stars because the nostalgia part's not there anymore.
The
It's
nostalgia
just a
part
newer
won't be
version
there,
of it.
and
Yeah.
the when you spend that kind of money, that movie better be good. Like you're not going to get a lot of forgiveness.
You're gonna get a lot of
off
special
it.
effects. I know that much. You're gonna get a lot of special effects in this movie, which is fine.
And
'Cause
maybe
again,
that might be a problem with it. It may be all special effects.
yeah, but like,
Like I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
for this kind of movie, I'm okay with it. Like, there's certain movies where I'm like, don't do it, but like, or don't go back and do it, aka Star
The
Wars.
Transformers thing. The
Yes,
more
that's
and
too
more
much.
Michael Bay went on, the more and more was just stuff blowing up, and you just don't care anymore.
No, but like that. I mean,
so,
but also, are you pissed at the Transformers themselves being CGI? No, because like, how good would they have looked if they were like practical effects?
trying
It
to
would have
do
been
practical effects of Transformers.
It would have been like Skeletor like lifting so slowly. It would have been like, okay, there he goes. He's transforming Bumblebee, and he's like, it's like that guy in the cardboard box at a comic convention who has the thing. That's what it would be like if it was special effects, or not special effects, practical effects. So yeah, obviously there's certain movies that it makes sense to do, and also don't go back and remaster Masters of the Universe 1987 by adding special effects like they did with Star Wars because that just like, there's no reason to. It looks worse. It doesn't work well.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not worried about having too much special effects in this new one because it's 2026. I'm pretty sure they use it in every freaking movie. And so it's just if it's to the point where like He-Man itself is full scenes of him CGI, then
that will be a problem. Yeah, which is something I'm nervous of.
When you don't need to. Like He-Man's it looks like a person, like it's a human. Like it's not like you need to have like
just a dude in a cape.
His name's Adam. His name's Adam. Cool. So I can see that. Yeah. He-Man, or not He-Man. It's also weird how they didn't put the word He-Man in the title of the movie.
It's not He-Man at all. It's just Master.
And that's probably what I would think that hurt them in the box office.
It might have, yeah. It possibly did. You know what's funny too is like in all of my time of doing this collectible side stuff, I have never seen any merch from this movie at all. Besides the couple action figures, Blade, a couple action figures, but that's it. There's no like McDonald's run of stuff. Like the 80s, everything got a run. Like hell, they were promoting Demolition Man with toys and action figures and all this sort of stuff. And Demolition Man is 100% not for children. And
they did sell a combined character. I don't know. I think it was for Revelations though. Recently, that was Orko and Gwildor in the same package, which is kind of funny. But yeah, you're right though. Again, I don't think the toys actually like it didn't like there was like a way to help sell the other toys. There's probably because they didn't want to manufacture anything new. They wanted to sell all the shit they still had. So they're like, we're gonna make this live action movie, but go to the stores and buy the He-Man that you're not seeing in the movie. But like at least the name is connected in that way.
Yeah.
But
I want He-Man. You already have He-Man at home.
Well, to me as a parent.
Yeah, it was funny that they didn't, even when they did them, they didn't market the figures in any difference. They literally used the same molds they already had to make Blade and to make the Lizard Dude and all of them. They are the same Master of the Universe figures. They weren't like rebranding, making them into G.I. Joe size or anything like that, trying to do like the Toy Biz X-Men run of figs. It was just, here's the exact same, honestly, pretty crappy He-Man mold with these guys on it. But yeah, there's no anything of this movie.
That again to me, if they made my kid, he doesn't like Bluey, but say it's Nova like Bluey, and they made a movie that was like the family's house name, without the name Bluey in it and
Bluey
put it
in
out
it,
there?
yeah.
Would you as much known without seeing a trailer or seeing an advertisement for it, just hearing the name of it, go, that's what I got to go bring a kid to do. He's a huge He-Man fan or whatever.
Yeah, it'd be
Like
really
that to me is
weird.
like, if you didn't know it was called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, you just
Simply being
focus on
Masters of the
He-Man.
Universe, you have no idea.
Masters of
Yeah.
the Universe thing is a secondary thing to it. So it's like one of those things like, did that not help with marketing? It's the fact that like,
I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure I didn't do it any favors.
but I mean, nowadays this is just called Masters of the Universe as well. So it's not like, it's not called He-Man and Masters of the Universe. And I don't know, like it's just called Masters of the Universe too. It's not like Revelations or anything like that. It's just literally called Masters of the Universe, which is also kind of annoying to me. Just like they do like Scream years after making Scream, and really it's Scream 6, but they just called it Scream, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're or Fast and the Furious, and it's the Fast and the Furious, and you do one called Fast and Furious. I'm like, dude, okay.
All of the Supermans, because they never made Superman, the Superman movie, or like,
it was called the first one was called Superman the movie. This new one's called Superman because they actually never made a movie called
They never
Superman.
made a movie called Superman. Yeah.
Well, they actually have never made a movie called Batman either.
Wasn't the 89 one is just Batman?
Oh, Batman. You're right. Yes, it is Batman.
Yeah,
not
the
Batman,
89
but
is
yeah.
just
Well,
Batman.
what's funny how you say that? It's like I always think of Batman 89.
Okay, so here's one for you before we call it a day. Are you excited about the new Clayface movie?
Yes, really, like a lot. And you knew who's writing the new Clayface comic book? Now I'm gonna forget their name. Jude Ellison S. Doyle, the one that rates like a bunch of horror stuff for Boom and stuff like that.
Perfect.
I just found that out the other day. But
That's
I'm excited for
interesting.
Clayface.
So
I'm
interesting
extremely
to
excited
do
for
it.
Clayface.
So exciting to do a DC like horror movie.
Yeah.
And they said,
Well,
flat out said, this is a horror movie. This is not a superhero movie. This is a horror movie.
Say what you will about
'cause when
James
I
Gunn.
saw Clayface, there was like, when it first started coming out about it, it was assumed that it was going to be a Batman movie. And I was like, I don't want to see Clayface and Batman. Like, Clayface is not a villain I really like that much. Like, he's like the weird. I was like Batman more against humans than weird, crazy. So when we got Clayface, the horror movie, now I'm like, okay, well, now I'm sort of interested to see what the hell this is and does. But
I mean,
so interesting.
well, as I said, say what you will about James Gunn, like what he has brought the Marvel architecture over to is superhero movies that are other genres. And so like that to me is like a comedy superhero movie and a drama and an action and a horror. Like that's what they were able to do at Marvel, with like Guardians of the Galaxy being like straight up comedy, and like Ant-Man being a heist movie that's a superhero movie. Like there's too many people.
Well, they
out
were
there
going to try to do Gambit as a romantic
Yeah.
comedy, which I am glad did not happen.
Well, I mean, the romantic Gambit and Rogue, if they did like the whole series, that was the comic book series. Gambit and Rogue was kind of like that too. They lived together and all this, But like the idea of saying superhero is a genre, it's not. It's a subgenre, in my opinion. It's each movie is an action movie that is actually a superhero. It contains superheroes. Like Clayface is gonna be a horror movie that features super characters, and I think that's what's cool about it. I'm excited for it. I will tell you, Paul, the most anticipated comic for me to read for the rest of this year is Absolute Green Arrow.
I can't wait for that. Yep.
That
looks awesome.
I'm just reading the solicitation for it and the whole idea behind it. I'm like, I don't think it would do well in the main universe, but like to be able to start over and do this like eco horror mystery, murder mystery style comic book and an absolute, it is gonna be phenomenal in my opinion. And Pornsack
awesome.
doing it is gonna be amazing. And
all of just the imagery of this.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be amazing.
It'll be interesting when we do our year in
Yes.
review. Is that going to be the book of the year? Like,
I don't know, man. And I just read last night. I read Operation Iron Coffin, the next book on the IDW Dark One, the first one that's like its own thing, because obviously Beneath the Trees was already made as something, and then you have like Smile and Event Horizons and 30 Days a Night. Like they're all like properties. This is their first like original one out since Beneath the Trees, and it's fun. It's Nazis and Dracula. And it seems so crazy, but it's like Dracula got brought back to life, or life with its powers.
Well, we all know that, like, you start, the more you learn about World War II and the Nazis and stuff, Hitler had this whole belief in like dark magic and all of this weird stuff. So it's very easy to say, tie in Dracula to Nazis.
But Dracula is a different version of Dracula because it's a Dracula set on redemption, because when Dracula actually died and went to hell, he didn't realize how bad it was going to be. So the devil creature, the underworld creature, gives him the opportunity to redeem himself by going and actually destroying all the vampires and destroying bad people like Nazis and things like that. And so he's actually like a good character in a sense, but he gets dropped
so he's more
the,
of the hero of the story.
but the Nazis are creating vampire hordes.
You can cheer for Dracula over Nazis. That's pretty easy.
It's to me, I'm like, it's not very like, I've read Nazi stories, I've read vampire stories and Dracula stories, but like to like mold them together was really kind of cool. And it's the guy who's writing it is also the guy who's co-writing Power Rangers Unlimited with our buddy Joey Esposito, which is pretty cool, which is awesome too. But yeah, it's gonna be fun 2026 the rest of the year. I think we got some cool movie reviews to do. We got episode 300 coming up in the fall. We've got potentially a live episode at the shop. We got comics to talk about. We're gonna do a year in the middle. It's gonna be like a little past halfway, but like we'll do a year. How is comics? How is things the first year of the year?
Talk about comics and Galactic Comics and the world of
the
comics
shop and all that stuff. Yeah, and so I'm excited. But yeah, Masters of the Universe. Go rent. I guess rent the DVD. Not possible anymore. But go buy the DVD.
Local Blockbuster, folks.
Because to be honest with you, it's probably in the $5 bin at Walmart. So just go buy the DVD.
I don't know how Liz found it. I'm assuming she probably got it off Amazon or something. Maybe Bull Moose if you have a Bull Moose in your area to check, something like that. Places that use DVDs.
Yes, exactly.
But
yeah,
watch this movie because
watch the movie. It's fun. It's a 1980s action superhero movie. It's a fun.
I don't want to overhype this and say it's awesome because I do think it's awesome. But it's fun. It's fun, and if you don't understand what the 80s vibes were, this movie gives all 80s vibes. So
this movie didn't win any awards. It actually did. It was nominated for a Razzie for the guy who played Gwildor, but like it never didn't win the worst movie. So like it didn't win. I don't think it won any awards, which that just says something. But it means it didn't win any bad awards. It also didn't win any good awards. So it's like it sits in the middle. So that's where you should watch it. Also, it's like, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining. You want to see He-Man? He-Man kicks some ass, and you want to see He-Man with no. You want to see Dolph Lundgren with no clothes on? Bam!
There you go.
Watch this.
Dolph Lundgren has the most kills of any action hero. If you take like Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all of them, he has the most kills of any of them on screen. And I think the majority come from this movie because the horde there, the stormtrooper looking dudes, he smokes those guys left and right in this thing.
Oh,
those guys are getting annihilated.
I was just at a comic convention, a celebrity convention, an expo this weekend, and Kane Hodder was there, and David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, was on a panel with Kane, and he asked Kane, "How many lives has Jason taken overall?" And I don't know if this was Jason itself or Jason that Kane Hodder played, because Kane Hodder played him. It was 77 or something like that lives. Okay, and then Kane goes, "What about Art the Clown?" And David Howard Thornton goes, "I've lost track." And then, so it was like a scene where he blows up a bunch of shit. And so he's like, "Oh, how many people were in the mall?" And Kane Hodder goes, No, those don't count. Physically putting your hands on how many people have you killed? He goes, "I still don't know." And so I was like, at least like there's these horror films that kill lots of people. They don't have a body count, but yes.
Some guy went through and watched all of these movies with all of them. And yeah, Dolph Lundgren had the most, which I found surprising.
It's pretty crazy, but watch it. But if you're not going to watch it, or if you don't want to watch it by yourself, just swing by 4099 Hammond Street, and it'll be on the TV in the background.
It'll be on the screen. There's a good chance.
And you can
file a request. We'll put it on for you.
And there's new comics and all that stuff coming too. It's a whole comic related thing. Watch the animated show. He-Man has a history. It's a thing that years and years, 100 years from now, people are still going to talk about He-Man in this way of like pop culture toys and all this stuff. So like it's worth watching everything with it. And I think that the cartoon's better in my opinion, but like the movie's awesome.
I also really loved the movie and was really surprised when I watched the cartoon what it was.
You're just loving this movie. Okay, Paul, we'll get you soon. We'll talk soon about maybe Supergirl, and then we'll go from there. I don't know. This will be a fun summer. So have fun today, and we'll talk this week sometime. But yeah, GalacticComicsAndCollectibles.com and 499 Hammond Street. Get a pizza at Angelo's and swing by and say hi to Paul at Galactic Comics. How about that?
Yeah.
Work for you?
Can't go wrong.
I have the power.